can you tell me a bedtime story?
Of course, sweetheart. Have you ever heard about the boogeyman?
Does he wear red clothes and give presents to me?
No, my sweetheart. He sneaks into the kids' room if they stay up late, hide under the bed, and if he catches you, you will never be seen again.
But I don't like the story, Mommy.
Good night, sweetie. Sleep tight. Poor kid, traumatized for life all because of a bedtime story. But hey, most places in the world have these kinds of stories too. These myths and creatures people pass along from generation to generation. And what place is more famous for these stories than Britain? There are creatures that want to trick you, some want to eat you, and some, well, they just want to make sure that you will never sleep again. So let's dive into the weird and wonderful world of Britain mythical creatures. First, let's talk about the Kelpie. No, not the dog one. But this horrific horse-like creature. The legend of the Kelpie dates back to at least the 18th century and is deeply rooted in Scottish Highland folklore. Often described as a beautiful and majestic horse, the Kelpie is usually either white or black in color. They haunt rivers, lochs, and were said to be a demonic creature serving Satan, luring unsuspecting victims to the watery doom. If that doesn't scare you, then let me tell you a story. One evening, a group of children played near a deep loch, ignoring warnings of a lurking Kelpie. While they were playing, they suddenly found a big, black horse. Eagerly, two of the kids climbed on it, and one touched its neck. Only then they realized they were stuck. The horse's eyes glowed red as it let out a loud scream and charged into the water, dragging them down. The youngest child, who had only touched the horse with one finger, managed to tear himself free, but at the cost of losing a piece of his skin. The others were never seen again. To this day, the laughter is said to echo near the loch, where the Kelpie still waits for its next victim. If that wasn't terrifying enough, Kelpies can also turn into humans, typically taking the form of a beautiful naked woman. They might engage in conversation, offering to help or guide travelers, only to lead them straight into the water. And if that still doesn't stop you from eagerly wanting to touch or talk to that thing, then you have no basic survival skill, I guess. And today, not only does it have a big impact on cultural life of Scottish people, but also the media, from movies like Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, to video games like Hogwarts Legacies. Well, if you are still here after that, congratulations, let's move to the next creature. If you ever encounter a short creature with long, sharp teeth, skinny fingers, fiery red skin, and greasy hair hanging down its shoulder, don't panic. That is not some gamer gremlin hiding in his mom's basement, avoiding showers and responsibilities. Nah, fortunately, it is just a cute little red cap. This creature is also known as red comb or bloody cap, a type of malevolent murderous goblin found in the folklore of Anglo-Scottish border region. The red cap is said to inhabit ruined castles along the Anglo-Scottish border. They are also known for a lovely habit of soaking their cap in the blood of their victims. Such a silly cutie patootie. The reason behind this behavior is to keep them alive, because when their head completely dries out blood, they will die. In spite of the heavy iron pikes they wield and the iron short boots they wear, these little bloodthirsty bastards are very fast. If you encounter them and your name is not Usain Bolt, or Sonic, or The Flash, then you will be dead, because it is impossible to outrun them. Trust me, I have been there. Now, let's move to the next... Wait, what? Who the frick are you?
Avada Kedavra! Now, let's forget about that guy and move to the next creature, shall we? Imagine this. Every night you hear screaming, crying, wailing, shrieking. Basically, a haunted mixtape. That probably is a banshee. And the bad news is, someone in your family is about to die. The banshee legend goes way back to 8th century Celtic mythology. Back then in Ireland, women called keeners were paid to sing sad songs at funerals. However, this was apparently seen as a sin because when they die, they get turned into supernatural spirits, the banshees. Legend said that banshee appeared in many forms. A pale lady in white with red hair flowing in the wind, a headless woman holding a bowl of blood, naked from the waist up in a green dress, or a classic horror pig, old woman, long grey hair, dressed in black, face hidden behind a veil. But not all banshees are out to ruin your night. Some are actually pretty sweet. Good banshees are like ghostly grandmas. They watch over their families, show up before someone dies, and sing soft, sad songs. No shrieking, just emotional support vibes. So next time you hear weird crying in the night, maybe check if it's a banshee or your cat. Either way, someone might be in trouble. Last, we're going to talk about the blue men of the Minch, who are also called storm kelpies. The official origins of the blue men are unclear and speculated by many, and there are variations of the tales. Some say they have tails, while some say they have legs. I don't know, but the tails seem more right, so we'll stick with this one. So, what exactly are blue men of the Minch, and what did they do? Legendly, blue men of the Minch are blue humanoid creatures, always men, I should point out, living in the Minch, which is a strait between the Outer Hebrides and mainland Scotland. Some people call them storm kelpies because locals think that they create sudden storms, often lash the Sheant Islands. Now, I should make it clear that while they are called storm kelpies, they actually have very little in common with kelpies other than a fondness for water. The main thing that blue men are famous for is trashing ships. Well, that is quite obvious, right? Anyways, they would keep an eye on any ships approaching their strait, then send up an alert, which sounds like they are crying, leave their cave and pull the ship down. Say you're in your ship, and the blue men decide that they don't like you going past, and they're all hauling on the bottom of your ship. Were you doomed? Actually, no. And even more surprisingly, you could actually ward them off by engaging in a rhyming battle with them, which is basically a rap battle. The chief blue man would lift out of the water and challenge the captain.
How can I be homophobic? I'm gay.
The chief would shout a rhyming couplet, and the captain need to reply with his own rhyming couplet that rhymes with the chief's couplet without any time to think about it. That would continue until the chief admitted defeat. If the captain won, the blue man would let the ship pass unharmed, or else the blue man would wreck the ship. Until now, some sailors choose to go a long way around the islands rather than cutting through a strait, so fearsome of the blue man's reputation. However, surprisingly, the blue man granted safe passage to fishermen who hadn't annoyed them. I want to clarify that blue men aren't all bad. According to one tradition, locals would light a candle by the sea at Halloween and pour ale into the water, believing that this offering encourages the blue men to deposit seaweed on the beach that the locals could then use as fertilizers. The blue men were also weather omens in folklore from the Isle of Skye. They related to a sense of an upcoming storm, which means if anyone saw the blue men in the sea, a white storm was on the way.
Kelpies, redcaps, banshees, blue men.
The UK isn't haunted, it's just overachieving.
More of the story, don't follow creepy sounds or horses.
Or men, especially blue ones. Stay safe, stay salty, and maybe don't visit alone. Goodbye!